The sandwich cost her everything, but it gave him a future worth $47 million. Victoria, 9 years old and black, saw the starving white boy through the fence. Her family had nothing, but she gave him her lunch anyway. Every day. For 6 months. No one asked her to. No one thanked her. She just did it. When he left, Isaiah made a wild promise. "I'll marry you when I'm rich." She laughed, then tied half her ribbon around his wrist. 22 years vanished. Isaiah became a CEO, spent 5 years searching for her, bought buildings, hired investigators, found nothing. Tonight, he'd walk into a community meeting in Chicago. Victoria would be there, still wearing her half of the ribbon. Neither knew they were seconds away from reunion. Isaiah Mitchell woke at 6 a.m. in a penthouse that cost more than most people earned in a lifetime. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Lake Michigan stretched out below. Sunrise painted the water gold. He didn't notice. He never did. The espresso machine hummed. Italian. $7,000. He pressed a button and walked away before the cup filled. His closet held 40 suits, all tailored, all perfect. He grabbed one without looking. The apartment was silent. Always silent. No photos on the walls, no personal touches, nothing that said someone actually lived here. It looked like a hotel. Felt like a tomb. His phone buzzed. His assistant. "Board meeting at 9. The Thompson deal closed. $12 million. Isaiah texted back. "Good. $12 million. He felt nothing. He walked to his home office, unlocked a drawer. Inside, a small glass frame containing a faded red ribbon. This was the only thing that mattered. He touched the glass gently. 22 years old. The fabric was deteriorating despite preservation. Every morning, he looked at it. Every morning, the same thought. Where is she? The board meeting was predictable. Congratulations, handshakes, applause for another successful quarter. Isaiah smiled, said the right things, played the part. Inside, nothing. His business partner, Richard, pulled him aside after. "You okay, man? You seem distant." "I'm fine." "You've been saying that for 5 years, ever since you started buying up South Chicago." Isaiah said nothing. "Why, specifically? There's no profit for years." "I have my reasons." Richard studied him. "This is about that girl, isn't it? The one you're looking for." Isaiah's jaw tightened. "Drop it." "Isaiah, maybe she doesn't want to be found." "I said, drop it." Richard held up his hands. "Just don't let this consume you." Too late. It already had. Isaiah sat alone in his office that afternoon, opened a file on his computer. 5 years. 3 private investigators. Hundreds of thousands of dollars spent. Nothing. The last report. "We've exhausted all leads. Victoria Hayes is too common a name. Family left no forwarding address after 2008. He pulled up a map of Chicago. 12 red pins marked his properties. All within 2 miles of Lincoln Elementary School. If Victoria was still in Chicago, she'd be in that neighborhood, helping people. That's who she was. So he'd bought properties, developed them, created reasons to be there constantly, hoping, waiting. His phone buzzed. Reminder, community meeting tonight at 7 p.m., South Chicago Community Center. Isaiah usually sent representatives to these meetings, but something made him type. "I'll attend personally." He didn't know why, just a feeling. The memories came unbidden. They always did. 22 years ago. He was 10. Winter. Chicago. 2 weeks on the streets after his mother died. Foster care tried once. One family said he was too difficult. The truth, he was traumatized, grieving. They put him back. He slipped through the cracks. 2 weeks of sleeping in doorways, digging through trash, stealing when he could. By day 14, he couldn't walk straight, dizzy from hunger. He found Lincoln Elementary, sat outside the fence during lunch recess, watched kids eat, laugh, play. A teacher noticed him. "You need to leave. You're scaring the students." Isaiah tried to stand. His legs buckled. The teacher walked away. That's when he saw her. A black girl with braided hair, maybe 9 years old, standing on the other side of the fence, watching him. Their eyes met. She didn't look scared. She looked sad. Victoria Hayes lived 3 blocks from that school, in subsidized housing with peeling paint and broken radiators. Her grandmother raised her. Her parents worked 3 jobs between them, barely made rent. Breakfast was oatmeal. Lunch was school-provided. Dinner was rice and beans. They survived. Barely. But Victoria's grandmother taught her, "Baby, we may not have much, but we always share what we got." That day at recess, Victoria's friends called her. "Victoria, come on!" But Victoria couldn't move, couldn't stop staring at the boy outside the fence. He was so thin, clothes torn, face hollow. He looked like he was dying. Her friend Jasmine ran over. "What are you looking at?" "That boy." "Oh, him. He's been there for days. Creepy." "He's not creepy. He's hungry. Not our problem. He's just a kid like us." Victoria looked at her lunchbox. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich, an apple, a juice box, her whole lunch, the only food until dinner. Her grandmother's voice, "We always share what we got." Victoria grabbed her lunchbox, walked to the fence. "Victoria, where are you going?" She ignored them. Up close, the boy looked worse, eyes glassy, lips cracked and bleeding. "Hi," Victoria said softly. "I'm Victoria. You look hungry." The boy tried to speak. Nothing came out. Victoria pushed her lunchbox through the fence. "Take it. It's okay." The boy grabbed the sandwich, ate it in 4 bites, tears streaming down his face. Victoria watched him eat everything, the apple, the juice, even the crackers. When he finished, he looked at her. "Thank you." His voice was hoarse, broken. "What's your name?" "Isaiah." "Are you okay, Isaiah?" He shook his head. "No." Victoria's heart broke. "I'll bring you lunch tomorrow, too." Isaiah's eyes widened. "You will?" "I promise." The bell rang. Victoria had to go, but she looked back 3 times. Isaiah sat clutching the empty juice box, watching her. Isaiah blinked. The memory faded. He looked at the clock. 6:45 p.m. The community meeting started at 7. Something told him tonight was different. He grabbed his coat, touched the ribbon in his desk one more time. "I'm coming, Victoria. I don't know if you're there, but I'm coming." What Isaiah didn't know, Victoria would be there. And she'd been thinking about him every single day for 22 years, too. Isaiah arrived at the South Chicago Community Center at 6:55 p.m. The building was old, chipped paint, flickering lights, but clean, cared for. Inside, folding chairs filled the room. About 50 people were seated. Families, elders, young activists. Isaiah straightened his tie. His expensive suit felt wrong here. A woman at the registration table looked up. "Name?" "Isaiah Mitchell. Mitchell and Associates." Her expression shifted, guarded. "The developer. You're actually here." "Yes." "Most developers send lawyers." "I'm not most developers." She handed him a name tag. "We'll see." Isaiah walked in. Heads turned. Whispers rippled. That's him. The millionaire. Probably here to bulldoze everything. Isaiah found a seat in the back. A woman in her 60s stood at the front. "Welcome. I'm Dorothy Carter, Community Board President. Tonight we will discuss the proposed development. She continued. Mitchell and Associates wants to build housing and renovate our center. But we've heard promises before. Murmurs of agreement. Mr. Mitchell will present his plans. Then we ask questions. Real questions. Dorothy looked at Isaiah. Mr. Mitchell? Isaiah stood, walked to the front. 50 pairs of eyes tracked him. He opened his presentation. Architectural renderings, beautiful buildings, green spaces. Good evening. I'm Isaiah Mitchell. I grew up not far from here. I know what broken promises look like. That got attention. I'm proposing affordable housing, not luxury condos. 60% of units reserved for current residents at current rent rates. Surprised murmurs. The community center will be fully renovated. New heating, new roof, expanded services, all funded by my company. Next slide. We'll create a job training program, hire locally, invest in this neighborhood's people. He paused. I know you don't trust me yet, but I'm not here to gentrify. I'm here to give back. Hands shot up. Dorothy pointed. Yes, Marcus? Mr. Mitchell, what's affordable to a millionaire versus someone making minimum wage? Units will be priced based on area median income. We're working with the housing authority. More hands. An elderly woman stood. What about current businesses? We're offering lease protections and relocation assistance. Another voice from the middle. How do we know you'll keep these promises? Developers always gentrify us out. Isaiah turned toward the voice. And frozen. A black woman, early 30s, professional attire, natural hair, standing with a notepad. Her voice. Something about her voice. I grew up in this neighborhood, she continued. I've seen promises broken. So how do we know you're different? Their eyes met. Isaiah's heart stopped. It couldn't be. I'm a social worker at this center. I see homeless youth, foster kids. Your buildings mean nothing if our most vulnerable are displaced. Isaiah stared. 22 years. But the eyes, the way she spoke, he found his voice. You're right to be skeptical. May I ask your name? Victoria Hayes. The room tilted. Isaiah gripped the table. Victoria Hayes. After 5 years of searching, she was here. But she didn't recognize him. He'd changed, filled out, confident, rich. Not the skeletal boy she'd fed. Dorothy's voice cut through. Mr. Mitchell? You okay? Isaiah blinked. Yes. Victoria Hayes, you said? Victoria looked confused. Yes? Why? Did you go to Lincoln Elementary? About 22 years ago? Victoria's expression shifted. Yes. How did you know? Isaiah's hands trembled. Not in front of 50 people, but he couldn't stop. Do you remember feeding a boy through the fence? A white boy, 10 years old, every day for 6 months. Victoria went still. Her notepad slipped. The room vanished. Isaiah? She whispered. Her hand went to her chest. To a locket. Isaiah nodded. Victoria's eyes filled. Isaiah Mitchell? It's me. I came back. The room erupted, people talking, confused. But Isaiah only saw Victoria. 22 years collapsed. You're alive, Victoria breathed. I told you I'd come back when I was rich. Victoria's hand covered her mouth. Tears spilled. Dorothy stood. Let's take a 15-minute break. People filed out, whispered, stared. Isaiah and Victoria didn't move. Finally alone, they walked toward each other. Met in the middle. Isaiah, Victoria's voice broke. I looked for you. After you left. I looked for you too. For 5 years. You're really here. I kept my promise. Victoria reached for her locket, opened it with shaking hands. Inside, half of a red ribbon. Isaiah pulled his keychain from his pocket. The other half. They held them up, side by side. A perfect match after 22 years. Both started crying. They sat in Victoria's small office, away from curious eyes. The door closed. Isaiah couldn't stop staring. Victoria couldn't stop crying. I can't believe it's you, she said. I can't believe you're alive. I almost wasn't. If it wasn't for you. Victoria shook her head. I just gave you lunch. No. You gave me everything. Isaiah leaned forward. Do you remember? All of it? Every day, Victoria whispered. I've thought about you every single day for 22 years. Isaiah's vision blurred. Tell me what you remember. Victoria closed her eyes. The first day, you looked so small, so scared. I'd seen you there for 3 days already, just sitting outside the fence. She opened her eyes. My friend said you were creepy, dangerous, but I saw your eyes. You weren't dangerous. You were dying. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that day, an apple, juice box. It was all I had until dinner, but you needed it more. I ate it in 4 bites. I know. I watched. And I saw you cry, because someone had finally seen you. Isaiah's throat tightened. You came back the next day. I promised I would. Victoria stood, walked to the window. That second day was harder, because I knew what I was doing. First day was impulse, second day was choice. I had to pack 2 lunches, one for you, one for me, but we barely had enough food, so I gave you mine. Isaiah hadn't known that. Victoria, day 3, my grandmother noticed. She watched me pack extra food. Didn't say anything, just put more in my lunchbox. Victoria turned back. By week 2, my whole family knew. They worked extra hours, made more food, so I could keep feeding you. Your family was poor too. We were, but you were poorer, and you were alone. Do you remember the conversations? Victoria asked. Isaiah smiled through tears. Every word. You'd tell me about your day, what you learned, the book you were reading. You were so smart, you'd ask questions. Ask good questions. I knew you were special. I didn't feel special. I know. That's why I kept reminding you. Victoria sat back down. Week 3. Other kids started teasing me. Isaiah remembered. He'd told Victoria to stop. But you didn't stop, Isaiah said. No, because you mattered more than their opinions. Your friend Jasmine tried to pull you away. Victoria nodded. Every day. Said I was being weird. Mrs. Patterson caught me. 4th week. She was going to report it. Isaiah leaned forward. What happened? I begged her. Told her you'd starve. She looked at you. Really looked. Then she said she didn't see anything. She helped you? She started bringing extra snacks. Left them in my cubby. Isaiah's chest ached. People were kinder than I thought. Victoria's voice dropped. Then winter came. Isaiah closed his eyes. Winter. The worst part. December. The temperature dropped to 15 degrees. You were outside in a thin jacket. No hat, no gloves. Your lips were blue. I remember. That afternoon I ran home, grabbed my winter coat, my dad's gloves, a scarf, a blanket from my bed. You gave me your coat. You said no. Said I'd be cold. I lied. Said I had another one. Isaiah opened his eyes. You didn't. No. I shivered through recess in a sweater for 2 months. got sick. My grandmother was so worried. Victoria, I didn't know. You weren't supposed to know. Silence hung between them. Then you got really sick. Week 5 of winter. Fever. Coughing so hard you couldn't stand. Isaiah nodded. I thought I was going to die. I thought so too. I ran home, begged my grandmother for help. She came. She did. Brought medicine, soup, tea. We nursed you back to health through that fence for 2 weeks. Isaiah remembered. The warm soup, the kind words. Your grandmother saved my life. We both did. That medicine was expensive. We needed it for my grandfather. She gave it to you instead. Isaiah's tears fell freely. I never knew how much you all sacrificed. We didn't see it as a sacrifice. We saw it as what we had to do. Victoria reached across, took his hand. 6 months, Isaiah. 120 days. Even when I was hungry. Even when I was cold. Why? Why did you do it? Victoria looked at him. Because you deserved to live. And because no one else was helping you. I would have died without you. I know. They sat in that truth. Victoria smiled, sad but warm. The last day, that was the hardest. I had to leave. Foster care found me a placement. I knew. Mrs. Patterson told me. I had 1 more day with you. Isaiah squeezed her hand. You brought so much food that day. Everything I could fit. Sandwiches, cookies, fruit, crackers. I wanted you to have enough. You gave me your ribbon. Victoria touched her locket. Half of it. The red ribbon from my hair. It was my favorite thing. You tied it around my wrist. I wanted you to remember, to know someone cared. Isaiah pulled out his keychain. The ribbon is still attached, faded, worn, but intact. I never took it off. Not once. Not for 22 years. Victoria's sob broke free. You kept it. I kept everything. Every memory, every word, every moment. So did I. They stood, embraced, held each other like they'd wanted to for 22 years. Thank you, Isaiah whispered. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for coming back. They pulled apart, both crying, both laughing. I made you a promise that day, Isaiah said. You said you'd get rich and marry me. I meant it. Victoria laughed through tears. We were 10 years old. I still meant it. Their eyes held. Something passed between them. Recognition. Connection. Something that started 22 years ago. A knock on the door. Dorothy's voice. Folks, people are waiting. Victoria called back. 5 more minutes. She turned to Isaiah. What do we do now? I don't know, but I'm not losing you again. I'm not going anywhere. Good, because we have 22 years to catch up on. Victoria smiled. And a community meeting to finish. Can we talk later? Yes, but Isaiah, this project, is this really about helping people or finding me? Isaiah was quiet. Then be honest. Both. I wanted to help because of what you taught me. But I also hoped if I was here enough, I'd find you. You built all this looking for me? I built all this becoming the person you believed I could be. Victoria's eyes filled. You did it. You became amazing. Because of you. They straightened their clothes, wiped their tears. Ready? Victoria asked. Isaiah held out his hand. Together? Victoria took it. Together. They walked back into the meeting room. hand in hand. 50 faces turned. Everyone had heard something. Whispers filled the room. Dorothy stood. "Shall we continue?" Isaiah nodded, but he didn't let go of Victoria's hand, and for the first time in 22 years, he felt complete. The meeting room buzzed with whispers when they returned. Dorothy raised her hand for silence. "I think we all witnessed something remarkable, but we still have business to discuss. Can you continue?" Isaiah nodded, still holding Victoria's hand. He addressed the room. "What you just saw is why this project exists. 22 years ago, I was homeless, starving. Victoria saved my life every day for 6 months." The room went silent. "Everything I built, I did thinking about her. This development isn't about profit. It's about creating the kind of community that saves kids like I was." Applause started, slow at first, then growing. The meeting continued for another hour. By the end, the community voted unanimously to approve the project. As people filed out, many stopped to shake Isaiah's hand, to hug Victoria. Finally, the room emptied. Just the two of them remained. "That was intense," Victoria said. "I didn't mean to make a scene." "I'm glad you did," she smiled. "But now we need to talk." They sat facing each other. Isaiah spoke first. "I want to help you. Please let me." "Help me how?" "Student loans, rent, whatever you need." Victoria held up her hand. "Stop. I don't want your money, Isaiah. But I have so much, and I didn't feed you so you'd owe me. I did it because it was right." Isaiah looked down. "I just want to give back." "Then give back to the community, to kids like you were. But don't try to pay me off." Victoria leaned closer. "I need to know something. Did that boy I fed grow into a good man?" Isaiah met her eyes. "I tried." "Show me." Isaiah pulled out his phone, showed her photos, affordable housing projects, scholarship programs for foster youth, job training initiatives. "I employ people others won't hire, anyone who needs a chance." Victoria scrolled through the images. Tears formed. "You remembered everything I said. How could I forget? You saved my soul." Victoria looked up. "This is what I need to know, not your bank account. That you became someone who cares. Does that make you proud? So proud I could burst." Silence settled between them. Then Isaiah said quietly, "I told you I'd marry you when I was rich." Victoria laughed. "We were children. I know, but I meant it. And I still mean it." She stopped laughing. "Isaiah, I'm not asking you to marry me right now. That's insane. We just reconnected. But let me take you to dinner. Let me get to know the woman you became." Victoria hesitated. "I don't know if this is a good idea." "Why not?" "Because you're a millionaire and I'm a social worker who can barely pay rent. We're from different worlds now." Isaiah took both her hands. "You have what I've been searching for. You. That's everything." Victoria's eyes filled. "This is crazy. I've waited 22 years. Can you give me a chance?" She studied his face, saw the boy she remembered. "One dinner, as friends. No promises." Isaiah grinned. "As friends. I can do that. And whatever happens between us, this project continues. You help this community regardless." "Deal. Though for the record, I'm already in love with you." Victoria's breath caught. "Isaiah, I've loved you since I was 10 years old. We'll see if you still feel that way after you actually know me." Victoria stood. "I should go. It's late." Isaiah stood too. "Can I drive you home?" "I can take the bus." "Please." Victoria nodded. "Okay, just a ride." They drove in comfortable silence. Victoria directed him to a modest apartment building. Isaiah pulled up. This is it? Home sweet home. She opened the door, then turned back. Thank you, Isaiah, for coming back, for remembering. Thank you for giving me a reason to. Victoria smiled. Good night. Good night. She walked inside, turned and waved. Isaiah watched until she was safe. Then he looked at the ribbon keychain. I found her. Now I just have to win her heart. Over the next 2 weeks, Isaiah and Victoria met 4 times. Officially, discussing the community center. Unofficially, they couldn't stay away from each other. Their meetings always ran long. 1 hour turned into 3. Business dissolved into stories and laughter. Isaiah noticed everything about her. The way she checked her phone constantly for work emergencies. The way she ate lunch quickly. The way her shoes were worn at the heels. He wanted to fix everything. But she'd said no to money. So he found other ways. Every meeting, Isaiah brought coffee. Always the same order. Caramel macchiato, extra shot, light foam. Victoria noticed. How do you remember? You told me once. I remember everything you say. Something shifted in Victoria's eyes. Isaiah also brought sandwiches. Different kinds. Italian sub, turkey club, grilled cheese. You really like sandwiches, Victoria laughed. Isaiah's voice was soft. They remind me of the best time in my life. Victoria's smile faded. She understood. One afternoon, Victoria mentioned the center needed a new heating system. $30,000 they didn't have. Let me look into that, Isaiah said. 3 days later, a brand new system was installed. Victoria cornered him. How much did you pay? I found a contractor who owed me a favor. You paid for it yourself. Does it matter? The kids have heat now. Victoria let it go. But she was watching him carefully. During their 4th meeting, a teenage boy knocked. Marcus, 16, aging out of foster care soon. Ms. Hayes, they're kicking me out. I have nowhere to go. Victoria's frustration was visible. I'm trying, but the system always fails. Isaiah watched, saw himself in Marcus. After Marcus left, Victoria put her head in her hands. This happens every week. I can't save them all. Isaiah said carefully, what if there was a program for kids aging out? That would be amazing. But who'd fund it? Let me make some calls. 1 week later, news broke. An anonymous donor pledged $500,000 for a foster youth scholarship fund. Victoria called Isaiah. Was that you? I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie. Silence. Then, does it help the kids? Yes. Then does it matter? Victoria's chest tightened. He was saving people, just like she'd taught him. Meanwhile, Isaiah started appearing at the center. Not for meetings, just there. I was in the neighborhood, he'd say. His office was 30 minutes away. Victoria's coworker whispered, that man is in love with you. We're just friends. Friends don't look at each other like that. One evening, walking to her car, Victoria shivered. Chicago winter had arrived. Isaiah put his coat around her shoulders. Isaiah, you'll be cold. I'll be fine. Victoria froze. Those exact words. 22 years ago. Reversed. She looked at him. He remembered everything. Her heart cracked open. What Isaiah didn't know. Victoria was falling too, despite her fears. And soon, he'd show her exactly how deep his feelings went. Isaiah called Victoria 3 days later. I want to take you to dinner. Not business. Just us. Victoria hesitated. Isaiah, please, you said one dinner, as friends. Okay, Friday at 7. Friday arrived. Victoria stood in front of her closet for 20 minutes. 3 dresses, all old, She chose the black one. Her grandmother called. "Baby, where are you going all dressed up?" "Just dinner with a friend." "Is this the boy you used to feed?" Victoria smiled. "Yes, Grandma." "That boy's in love with you. Has been for 22 years. Isaiah arrived exactly at 7. Suit. Simple daisies in hand. "You remembered," Victoria said. "You said you liked simple things." They drove to an upscale restaurant downtown. Victoria had never been anywhere this nice. The hostess greeted Isaiah by name. "Mr. Mitchell, your table is ready?" Private corner. Candles, white tablecloth, city view. Victoria felt out of place. "Isaiah, this is too much. Please, let me give you one nice evening." Victoria relaxed. The food was incredible. Conversation flowed naturally. They talked about books, movies, dreams, fears. Victoria opened up about dating. "It never works out. Men are either intimidated or they want to fix me." "I don't want to fix you. You're not broken." "Thank you." After dinner, Isaiah said, "Can I show you something?" "What?" "A surprise. Trust me?" Victoria nodded. They drove to Millennium Park. Late evening, nearly empty. Winter lights sparkled. Isaiah led her to a specific bench. "I need to tell you something." They sat. Isaiah pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. A young man, 18, clearly homeless, sitting on this exact bench. Victoria looked closer. "Is that you?" "Yes. After I aged out of foster care, I had nothing. I lived in my car for 6 months." Victoria's hand covered her mouth. "I'd work day labor, make just enough for food. Every night I'd sit here, look at the city lights, all those buildings, successful people." He showed the red ribbon on his keychain. In the photo, it was on his wrist. "Every night I'd touch this and say, Victoria believed in me. I have to make something of myself, find her, keep my promise." Victoria was crying. Isaiah swiped to the next image, a map of Chicago, 12 red pins. "These are properties I own, all within 2 miles of Lincoln Elementary." Victoria stared. "All of them?" "Everyone. Because I knew if you were still in Chicago, you'd be in that neighborhood, helping people. That's who you are." "You've been looking all this time?" 5 years actively, 22 years never forgetting." Isaiah pulled out architectural plans. "These are for the new community center. Look at the dedication plaque." Victoria read through tears. "The Victoria Hayes Center for Youth Services, in honor of the girl who taught me that kindness can change a life." She couldn't speak. "I was going to surprise you at the grand opening, but I need you to understand something." Isaiah took her hands. "Everything I built, every dollar, every decision, I made it thinking of you, asking, would Victoria be proud? Would this honor what she taught me?" Victoria was shaking. "You didn't just feed me, Victoria. You saw me. When everyone looked away, you saw me. Treated me like I mattered." His voice broke. "Do you know what that does to a child who believes he's worthless? You gave me hope, love, a reason to survive." "Isaiah, I just gave you food." "No. You gave me everything that matters." He moved closer. "I told you I'd marry you when I was rich. But Victoria, I don't want to marry you because I owe you." Victoria's breath stopped. "I want to marry you because over these weeks I've fallen in love with you all over again." "Isaiah..." "The girl who fed me grew into the most incredible woman I've ever known, still saving people, still sacrificing, still choosing kindness. I don't know what to say. I know it's fast. We just reconnected. But I've loved you 22 years. I don't want to waste another day." Victoria was crying and laughing. "This is insane." "If it's too much, tell me. I'll wait as long as you need." Victoria looked at him, saw the boy she saved in the man before her. "I don't know if I'm in love with you yet," she said honestly, "but I want to find out." Isaiah's face lit up. "Yeah?" "Yeah." They moved together, foreheads touching, tears mixing. "I'm going to spend my life making you as happy as you made me," Isaiah whispered. "You already have." They kissed. Tender. Meaningful. 22 years in the making. When they pulled apart, both were smiling through tears. Victoria's phone rang. She ignored it. Rang again. She checked. "Work emergency." Isaiah stood immediately. "Let me drive you." They rushed to help a teenage girl in crisis, found her housing, made sure she was safe. Working together, Isaiah saw Victoria in action. Her compassion, strength, absolute dedication. He fell deeper in love. By midnight, they reached Victoria's apartment. At her door, she turned. "Thank you for tonight, for everything. Thank you for giving me a chance." "Isaiah? That program for kids aging out, were you serious?" "Very serious. I want to create something that actually helps." Victoria's eyes filled. "I want to help you build it." "I was hoping you'd say that." They stood close, neither wanting the night to end. "I should go in," Victoria said softly. "I know." Neither moved. Finally, Isaiah stepped back. "Good night, Victoria." "Good night." He watched her go inside, waited until her light came on. Then he looked at this ribbon keychain. She's falling too. Upstairs, Victoria leaned against her door, hand over her heart. "I'm falling," she whispered. "I'm really falling for him." For the first time in 22 years, the promise felt possible. The next morning, Isaiah called his lawyers. "I need to set up a foundation. Immediately." "What kind of foundation, Mr. Mitchell?" "For youth aging out of foster care, comprehensive support, housing, education, job training, mental health services, everything." "Budget? $10 million to start, renewable annually." 2 weeks later, Isaiah invited Victoria to his corporate office downtown. Victoria walked in, overwhelmed. Floor-to-ceiling windows, modern furniture, success everywhere. "This is where you work?" Isaiah smiled. "Most days, but I'd rather be at the community center with you." "Why am I here?" "I have something to show you. Sit." Victoria sat. Isaiah pulled up a presentation on the large screen. The Red Ribbon Initiative. Victoria's eyes widened at the name. Isaiah clicked through slides. Comprehensive program for youth aging out of foster care, age 16 to 25. He detailed the services: transitional housing in his buildings, scholarship fund for education, job training programs, mental health counseling, life skills coaching, legal aid. Budget, $10 million first year. Goal, serve 100 youth. Scale to 500 within 3 years. Victoria was speechless. "I've partnered with 12 Chicago companies. They'll provide job placements, internships, mentorship." He clicked to the next slide. "But the program needs a director. Someone who understands these kids. Someone who's earned their trust." Victoria's heart raced. "Someone like you?" Isaiah pulled out a folder, handed it to her. Inside, a formal job offer. Executive Director. Salary, $120,000 per year. Full benefits. Staff of 10. Complete operational control. Victoria stared at the numbers. "Isaiah, this is a job. A real one, not charity. You'd work harder than you've ever worked. Quarterly reports, board presentations, budget management. I don't have a degree in nonprofit management. I don't have experience running something this big." Isaiah sat beside her. "You have something better. You've lived it. You know exactly what barriers exist and what support actually means." Victoria looked at the offer. Her hands trembled. And Victoria, this is separate from us. Whatever happens between us personally, this program stands. You'll have a contract, legal protections. This isn't contingent on our relationship. Victoria exhaled. She'd been worried about that. I want you to take this job because it's right for you and the kids, not because you feel obligated to me. Victoria stood, walked to the window, looked out at the city. I've spent my whole adult life working in a broken system, watching kids fall through cracks, knowing I can't save them all. Her voice broke. And now you're offering me a chance to actually fix things, to build something better. It's overwhelming. Isaiah walked to her. Think about Marcus, about all the kids like him, like I was. We can help them. Why me? You could hire someone with more experience. Because you care. Because you see these kids as people, not statistics. Because 22 years ago, you proved you'll sacrifice everything for someone who needs help. Victoria's tears fell. What if I fail? Then we learn and try again. But Victoria, I don't think you'll fail. I think you'll change hundreds of lives. Victoria looked at the folder again, read the details, the scope, the possibilities. Can I make changes? Design the program my way? That's why I want you, your vision, your expertise. I provide funding and business support. You make all program decisions. And if we disagree? Isaiah smiled. Then you win. This is your program. And Victoria laughed through tears. You'd really give me that much control? Yes, because I trust you. I've trusted you since I was 10 years old. Victoria sat back down, read through the entire proposal, asked questions. Isaiah answered honestly. Finally, she looked up. I have conditions. Name them. I want to hire from the communities we serve. Staff should include people who've been through the system. Done. I want advisory boards made up of former foster youth. Real decision-making power, not token representation. Absolutely. And I want to keep working 1 day a week at the community center with my current clients, so I never forget why we're doing this. Isaiah nodded. We'll write that into your contract. Victoria took a deep breath. Then yes, I'll do it. Let's save some kids. Isaiah's smile was radiant. Thank you. They shook hands, professional, then hugged, personal. We're going to change lives, Isaiah said. We already did. Each other's. Over the next month, contracts were signed, staff hired, office space allocated in one of Isaiah's buildings. Victoria gave notice at her old job. Bittersweet goodbyes. Her co-workers cried, You deserve this. The program launched quietly. No press, just work. Victoria interviewed the first cohort, 25 youth, ages 16 to 21, all aging out of foster care. She met Marcus again. You're in, Marcus. We're going to help you. Marcus cried. Why? Why me? Victoria smiled. Because someone helped me once. Now it's my turn. Isaiah watched Victoria work. She was brilliant, compassionate, fierce when advocating for her kids. She hired staff who understood, a former foster youth as assistant director, a social worker who'd been homeless, a counselor who'd aged out herself. Together, they built something real. Apartments were secured, 20 units in Isaiah's buildings, furnished, safe, affordable. Scholarships were distributed, GED programs, community college, vocational training, whatever each kid needed. Job training began. Resume writing, interview skills, workplace etiquette. Then actual placements at partner companies. Mental health services started. Therapy. Support groups. Crisis intervention available 24/7. Within 3 months, all 25 participants were housed. 18 were enrolled in education programs. 12 had part-time jobs. Marcus got his GED, started welding training, moved into his own apartment, called Victoria crying. "I never thought I'd have my own place." "You earned it, Marcus. Keep going." Every Friday, Isaiah and Victoria had dinner. Sometimes strategy sessions, sometimes just dates. The line between professional and personal blurred, but it felt right. One evening, Victoria said, "I never thanked you properly." "For what?" "For believing I could do this, for trusting me with something so important." Isaiah took her hand. "You gave me life. I'm giving you the resources to give life to others." Victoria kissed him, soft and sweet. "I'm falling in love with you." Isaiah Mitchell. "I've been in love with you for 22 years, Victoria Hayes." They laughed, held each other. Outside, Chicago sparkled, full of possibility. And somewhere, kids were getting help, getting hope, getting a second chance. Because two people kept a promise. 6 months passed. The Red Ribbon Initiative served 127 youth in its first half year, 89% retention rate. The national average was 40%. 67 participants enrolled in education or job training, 45 in stable housing, 0 returns to homelessness. But numbers didn't tell the real story. People did. Marcus graduated from welding school, got a full-time job, salary, $42,000 a year. He called Victoria crying. "I never thought I'd have a future." "You always had one, Marcus. Now you have the tools to build it." Then Marcus bought his first car, sent Victoria a Mother's Day card. "You're the only mother I've ever had." Victoria kept that card on her desk. Jasmine, 17, had escaped an abusive foster home, been living in her car. The program found her housing, got her therapy, helped her finish high school. She graduated top of her class, full scholarship to community college, studying social work. "I want to be like Ms. Victoria. I want to help kids like me." Tyler, 16. Parents died in a car accident, severe depression. Isaiah met with Tyler personally, shared his own story, the homelessness, the ribbon. "You're not worthless," Isaiah said. Tyler started therapy, enrolled back in high school. 6 months later, he smiled for the first time. "I want to study business. Be like you, Mr. Mitchell." The program's impact rippled through South Chicago. Local businesses partnered. A cafe hired 3 participants. A bookstore hired 2. A clothing shop hired 4. The neighborhood saw reduced crime, increased foot traffic, new businesses opening. 5 high schools created pipelines, connected at-risk students before they aged out. 23 participants earned GEDs. 8 enrolled in college. 15 in vocational programs. The media noticed. NBC Chicago ran a feature. "The Promise That Changed a Community." The reporter asked Victoria and Isaiah, "You two make quite a team. Is it all business?" They exchanged a look, smiled. "We're partners," Victoria said, "in every sense that matters." CNN picked up the story. From homeless to millionaire, the love story behind Chicago's foster care revolution. The full story aired. Isaiah's childhood, Victoria feeding him, the promise, the reunion. Social media exploded. Hashtag Red Ribbon. Promise trended nationally. Millions of views. People tied red ribbons to their wrists, committing to help one person in need. The challenge went viral. Celebrities participated. $2 million raised for foster care programs nationwide. PBS filmed a documentary. The Promise, a love story that saved hundreds. It premiered nationally, won awards, changed the conversation about foster care. Illinois legislature passed the Red Ribbon Act, increased state funding for youth aging out. Isaiah and Victoria testified before the state committee. 15 Chicago companies created similar programs. The Mitchell model became a blueprint. Harvard Business School wrote a case study. Milwaukee launched a program, then Indianapolis, Detroit. By year's end, 34 cities had Red Ribbon programs. Victoria became a sought-after speaker, but she never forgot where she started. Every Thursday, she worked at the original community center. Isaiah joined her some Thursdays, helped run programs, talked to kids. One evening at the 6-month anniversary gala, 500 people filled the ballroom. Donors, partners, media, community leaders, program participants. Victoria stood backstage, nervous. Isaiah found her. "You okay?" "Just thinking about how far we've come." Victoria took his hand. "Isaiah, when you go on stage tonight, I want you to know I'm ready." "Ready for what?" Victoria smiled. "You made me a promise 22 years ago. I think it's time." Isaiah's eyes widened. "Victoria, I love you. I'm in love with you. And I want to spend my life with you." Isaiah pulled her close. "Are you saying—" "I'm saying when you ask, the answer is yes." Isaiah laughed, cried, kissed her. "I've been carrying a ring for 3 weeks. Tonight is the right moment." They walked on stage together, hand in hand. Isaiah spoke about the program, the success, the future. Then he paused, looked at Victoria. "But none of this would exist without one person. Victoria Hayes saved my life 22 years ago." The crowd applauded. Isaiah got down on one knee. The room gasped. He pulled out a simple ring, red ruby, symbolizing the ribbon. "Victoria Hayes, 22 years ago I promised I'd marry you when I was rich. Will you marry me?" Victoria was crying, smiling. "Yes. Yes, I'll marry you." The room erupted, standing ovation, cheers, tears everywhere. They kissed. After 22 years, the promise was kept. 1 year later, the wedding was small, 100 guests at Lincoln Elementary School. The fence where Victoria first fed Isaiah had been preserved. A plaque read, "Where kindness began." Red ribbons decorated everything. Victoria walked down the aisle. Her grandmother escorted her, both crying. Isaiah stood at the altar crying too. They exchanged vows. "Isaiah, Victoria, when I was 10 and starving, you fed me. When I was lost, you saw me. You gave me a reason to live. I promise to show up for you every day, to love you completely, forever." Victoria. "Isaiah, you took a sandwich and turned it into a movement. You took a ribbon and turned it into a legacy. I promise to be your partner, to remind you every day that you were always worthy, even before you were rich." They kissed as husband and wife. The reception was at the Victoria Hayes Center. Program participants performed. Marcus gave a toast. "To the couple who taught us that family is who chooses to love you." After the celebration, Isaiah and Victoria walked to the fence. They tied new red ribbons to the metal. "For the next kid who needs hope," Isaiah said. A young girl approached, 8 years old, black, shy. "Excuse me, I'm Sarah. I'm hungry." Victoria and Isaiah looked at each other, hearts breaking and soaring. Victoria knelt down. "Come with us. Let's get you some food." They brought Sarah inside, fed her, made sure she was safe. Sarah ate slowly. "Why are you helping me?" Victoria touched her locket. "Because someone once helped him." She pointed to Isaiah. Isaiah pulled out a red ribbon, tied it around Sarah's wrist. "Keep this, remember. Someone believes in you. You're going to be okay. I promise." Sarah held the ribbon. "Thank you." As Sarah left with a social worker, Victoria leaned into Isaiah. The cycle continues. Forever. They looked at the building, lights glowing, kids inside laughing, healing. The Red Ribbon Initiative had served 847 people in 2 years, replicated in 34 cities. Every participant received a ribbon. Isaiah and Victoria walked inside, hand in hand. Behind them, hundreds of red ribbons fluttered on the fence, each representing a life touched, a promise kept, kindness continuing. Text appeared on screen. The Red Ribbon Initiative has placed 847 system-impacted individuals in stable housing and education programs. The model has been replicated in 34 cities across the United States. Isaiah and Victoria Mitchell continue to lead the program together. They are expecting their first child, a daughter they plan to name Hope. Final image. Isaiah and Victoria walking away from the center, hand in hand. Camera pans to the fence. Hundreds of red ribbons, each one a life changed, each one a promise kept, each one proof that a sandwich given in kindness can change the world. If you're watching this and you're struggling right now, if you're hungry, homeless, alone, please don't give up. Someone out there is looking for you. Your Victoria is coming. Your Isaiah is coming. Hold on. And if you're watching this and you have something to give, even if it's small, even if you think it won't matter, give it. You never know whose life you'll change. A sandwich changed Isaiah's life. A ribbon gave him hope. A promise brought him home. What will you give? What promise will you keep? Victoria taught Isaiah that kindness isn't a transaction. It's an investment in a future you'll never see. But that future is real. It's 847 people, 34 cities, countless lives touched. It started with one girl, one sandwich, one choice to care. Your choice matters too. Share this story. Spread kindness. Tie a red ribbon. And remember, love keeps its promises. Thank you for watching.
Victoria's family had nothing, but for 6 months she gave her only meal to dying boy through friends. He kept promise. 22 years later, here's what the sandwich recreated. Victoria was 9, family barely had food. She looked at starving boy and chose, I'll share mine. Not once, every day, 6 months. Her family worked extra hours so she'd have enough to give, gave Isaiah medicines they needed themselves. Why would poor families sacrifice that? Because they understood you don't need money to change life, just need to care. Isaiah remembered 22 years touching that ribbon, thinking, Victoria believed I mattered when nobody else did. When he got rich, he asked, how do I help others the way she helped me? This isn't a fairy tale about getting rich. It's about treating people like they matter. Victoria didn't know Isaiah would become millionaire, just knew he was hungry and she had sandwich. That choice started chain reaction. Isaiah built a program helping 847 kids. Those kids help others, on and on and on. How many people now feel invisible, worthless? One conversation, one meal, one moment seeing them as human, that plants seed. You might never see it grow, but it does grow. Share with someone needing hope. Subscribe if you believe small acts matter. Comment when this stranger's kindness changed your life. Their wedding day, another hungry child appeared at friends. Isaiah and Victoria fed her. The cycle continues. Being rich doesn't make you powerful. Being kind does. What do you have today that could change someone's tomorrow? Start now.